Good afternoon. We are on to NTA Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Femi Johnson and thanks for joining us. The federal government has declared its commitment to applying decisive measures towards ending extreme poverty in the country as a deliberate attempt to keep faith with the poor. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at a parley with participants of the Senior Executive Course 38 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. He said it is impossible for his administration as people's government to ignore the poor who made great sacrifices for the change agenda. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo is putting that report together and it will come up in the course of the bulletin. Let's join Zainab in our Sokoto Network Center with reports on the activities making round on the 10th anniversary of Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar II as the Sultan of Sokoto. Zainab, it's over to you. What's the latest?
Thank you, Femi, and you're welcome. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described the leadership style and literary works of early founders of Sokoto Caliphate as relevant to contemporary Nigeria. He was speaking at the International Symposium organized in commemoration of the 10th anniversary of Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III in Sokoto. Usman Muhammad Binji completes the story.
The symposium brought together people from within and outside Nigeria with a view to reflecting the contributions of Sokoto Caliphate established more than 200 years ago by Sheikh Usman bin Podio. Declaring the symposium open, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, while congratulating the Sultan of Sokoto on his 10 years anniversary, said Sokoto Caliphate was established by intellectuals to fight injustice and corruption. He stressed the need for present crop of leaders in Nigeria to take a cue from the founders of the Caliphate, who laid foundation for tolerance and justice. The Vice President quoted Sheikh Usman bin Podio, where he likened a corrupt leader who steals from public treasury to a monkey.
Sheikh Usman bin Fodio fought against unjust leaders. In one of his writings, he equated a thief, a corrupt leader, with a monkey. He wrote, and I quote, when you find a man with a tendency to steal surreptitiously, he is in the same class as the monkey, end of quote.
The celebrant Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, thanked all Nigerians and charged Nigerian leaders, especially state governors, to focus on executing people-oriented projects instead of engaging in white elephant projects. He called on government to do more in the fight against insurgency, militancy, kidnapping, among others. Governor Sokoto State Aminu Waziri Tambuwal commended the Sultan for his good leadership and support to government policies and programs at all times.
Since your assumption of office as chairman of the National Economic Council, you've been doing very greatly well in ensuring that our economy is brought back to the track. I think, but for once, we have never missed our monthly meeting with you in the National Economic Council. It has never been like that before.
A prolific scholar, Mure Last, University College London, underscores the immense contributions of Sokoto Caliphate towards the corporate existence of Nigeria. Imam of Kano Muhammad Sanusi II says the symposium was organized to enlighten Nigerians on the literary of founders of Sokoto Caliphate. The symposium featured presentation of papers by scholars of repute. In Sokoto, Usman Mohammed Binji, NTA News.
In continuation of the activities lined up for the 10th anniversary of Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, a special dinner has been held at the Sultan's Palace to entertain guests trooping to the Caliphate for the historic ceremony. The dinner was coordinated by the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Muhammad Sanusi II. Jabi Ilela Dabori has the report.
The special dinner brought together virtually all the prominent traditional rulers and traditional title holders across the country and beyond. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal said the anniversary is being celebrated as a mark of gratitude to Almighty Allah for enthroning a sultan and a leader that has sincere and true commitment to the cause of purposeful and fruitful leadership.
Normally expected to be very brief and short. And in a situation such as this, whereby we have had very, very rich and illuminating testimonials that are genuine, sincere, and correct on the personality of the celebrant.
In their separate remarks, the Bongwan Jos Buba Gang and spiritual leader of Tib community, Mustawantere Paul Onongo, hailed the Sultan's unprecedented efforts of bridging the gap and bringing together the Nigerian communities, religious institutions to reduce religious intolerance and political bigotry. The chairman, South-South Traditional Rulers Council, described the Sultan as #1 bridge builder who had united and established cordial relationship between the different kingdoms in the South-South and Southeast axis of the country. Chairman, National Organizing Committee of the Anniversary, Emir of Kano Muhammad Sanusi II, said they decided to celebrate the Sultan on this fete to symbolize their continued loyalty and support to Sultan in all his endeavors targeted at uniting and improving the standard of humanity. The celebrant and Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sadabaka III, thanked the organizers of the event, describing them as lovers of humanity and pledged to go to any length in the discharge of the caliphal duties geared towards good governance and service to humanity.
I wear 2 turbans, traditional turban and religious turban.
In Sokoto, Jabelela Dabore, NTA News.
And that is the latest from here. It's back to you, Femi.
Thank you, Zainab. We brought you a report earlier on telling you that the federal government has formally declared its commitment to applying decisive measures towards ending extreme poverty in the country as a deliberate attempt to keep faith with the poor. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at a party with participants of the Senior Executive Course 38 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. That report is now ready, and Adamu Sambu will present it.
The participants of the Senior Executive Course 38 of the National Institute were in the State House to formally present to President Muhammadu Buhari the report of their research findings on the theme Strengthening Institutional Mechanisms for Poverty Reduction and Inclusive Development in Nigeria. The Acting Director General of the Institute, Jonathan Juma, who led the participants, said the report, which is a product of painstaking work, contains implementation strategies to guide the policy direction of government.
Nigeria is greatly endowed. All we require is committed Nigerians. So we have made recommendations that we feel will help reduce poverty in the country and promote inclusiveness.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who commended the participants for a job well done, noted with concern that despite the nation's enormous wealth, as well as several policies and programs implemented over the years, the cycle of poverty is yet to be broken in Nigeria.
I want to assure you that the Federal Executive Council will carefully study the report and implement all the practical recommendations. It is impossible for this administration to ignore the poor who made great sacrifice to bring us to government. Ours, more than any other government in the history of Nigeria, is a people's government. We therefore must and we will keep faith with the people.
The president said he is not unmindful of the suffering of Nigerians as a result of the present economic situation, but was quick to add that the recession is not the making of his administration, but a consequence of bad management of the economy in the past couple of decades.
The average cost of each Nigerian barrel of oil was $100 per barrel. When we came, I asked, any savings? I was told there was no saving. What have you done on agriculture? Power, rail, roads, nothing. You know it more than I do. How many of the trunk A roads from A to B are still good enough? Where is that money? This is the type of thing we, the Nigerian elite, are doing to our own country. Persuade them to be Nigerians, please.
President Buhari said the report presented by the NIPS participants has given him reason to strongly believe that the challenges are surmountable.
This administration is committed to find a lasting solution to our economic structural imbalance. Let us have faith in our great nation that we will come out of this recession vibrant and strong.
The National Institute, which so far graduated about 1,500 participants, was conceived in 1979 to serve as the nation's foremost policy think tank that will conceptualize innovative policy initiatives and strategies critical for national development. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, the Senate President Bukola Saraki says the role of civil society organizations in the formulation of the budget cannot be overemphasized, as the public budget remains a key fiscal policy for bolstering economic development in the country. This was at an interactive session between the Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organizations on Nigeria's budgeting system. Let's join National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Zumba for details.
The interaction focused on the 2016 budget performance and the proposed 2017 budget. Senator Saraki stressed that public engagements such as this is germane to development of a responsible budget framework.
We at the National Assembly have tried to foster an interactive engagement platform where we can engage the CSOs on matters related to the budget of our national economy.
Senate considered that the participation of CSOs could strengthen the legislator's functions on budgetary matters by way of delivering research-based evidence and advice to the members of the National Assembly.
Executive Director, Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, Clement Nwankwo, and others argued that there are a lot of blockages to effective budgeting.
Expectation on the National Assembly will play its role on ensuring that the policies that the budget holds, and more importantly, the promises that democracy holds, is delivered to our people.
The last time I checked through the website of the budget office, there's been not even a single budget implementation report for the year. So how can you know what has exactly happened to feed into the 2017 budget process?
It's only through the instrumentality of the budget that government can allocate resources to deliver services to the people.
Participants emphasized the need for regular monitoring information and evaluation findings to improve government performance at all levels. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Zumba, NT News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on the Federal Road Maintenance Agency has urged the executive to give urgent attention to the poor state of federal roads across the country, despite huge funds appropriated over time for maintenance. It was at the committee's investigative hearing with FEMA. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has more.
The investigative hearing was to unravel issues behind the alleged unilateral, arbitrary and unauthorized creation of positions of executive directors in FEMA and its general operations. In the process, the committee members raised critical issues of concern on the poor condition of many federal roads across the country and its attendant consequences.
There are lamentations about the deplorable state of our roads, or state of our roads in Nigeria, which have become death traps because of potholes, other accidents, and high traffic. You have the money now. You have been given the money, so we expect that you should award so that our roads should be maintained.
The agency pointed to inadequate funding and the delays in the procurement process as challenges being faced by FEMA.
We have been waiting for money to come before we complete our procurement process. We have gone very far. And in fact, the first phase, we have completed the procurement process. Our major problem is this cash backing. Funds were released, but we've been advised not to use the funds yet until we get proper clearance.
The investigative hearing is expected to awaken consciousness of FEMA on its responsibility of road maintenance, as well as re-establish collaboration with the Committee on FEMA for effective service delivery. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Still on issues bordering on development, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has tasked members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers to prove that they have capacity to fill vacuum which necessitated the presence of foreign engineering companies handling various projects across the country. Members of the society met the minister on the need to consider local engineers in Nigeria's infrastructural development. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
The association, which commended efforts of President Muhammadu Buhari in revamping Nigeria's economy through infrastructural development, wants local content policy to be considered to boost job creation, particularly where materials used for rail projects and other construction works are sourced locally.
Nigerian engineering firms and other business concerns should be assured of participation in the various practice areas in either joint venture or as subcontractors or consultants. This will guarantee widespread employment and acquisition of skills and competencies for projects.
Advising the engineers, Power, Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola said opportunity will be given to Nigerian engineers who show capacity to deliver as government implements infrastructural programs.
I can tell you from experience, if we are talking about rail today, how many Nigerian design firms design rail? Any serious government that wants to do infrastructure, that wants to turn people's lives around, that wants to see development and invest in infrastructure, will take its engineers serious. But the engineers must step up to the plate. They must invest.
On the housing project to commence soon, Fashola promised that all materials that can be sourced locally will not be imported. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says music over the years has remained a potent tool for mobilization and shaping policies. The minister stated this when he received in audience the Managing Director of Evergreen Music Company Limited, Femi Esho in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
Minister who went down memory lane chronicled songs he described as revolutionary, saying artists like Fela Kuti, Ebenezer Obey, Sonny Okosum, and the likes sang songs that made meaning, and of particular note, he said, was that of Hubert Ogunde, whose song led to a protest in favor of wage increase.
Nigeria, we have produced great musicians, and they have helped us in molding the morals, they've helped us in advocacy, they've helped us in fighting injustice. And this is not limited to any part of Nigeria. They've also helped us unite Nigeria. One thing you can be sure is that when there's good music has no language.
The minister, who expressed satisfaction with what Evergreen Company is doing, said his ministry will support Evergreen in preserving old works for posterity's sake. He commended the ability of Evergreen Company under the management of Femi Esho for preserving songs that dates back to 1904. Earlier, the managing director of Evergreen Company, Femi Esho, told the minister how they have strived to preserve music of yesteryears that are at the verge of going extinct.
The power of music cannot be quantified. So we don't want our music to go totally into extinction.
Femi Esho told the minister that presently the company has collected over 500 musical works made by different Nigerian and Ghanaian artists. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Still on entertainment, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has also assured France and Japan of Nigeria's readiness for a collaboration that would develop its film industry. The minister stated this at the second edition of the Animated Film Festival of the Japanese and French embassies in Abuja. Anthony Forson again has more.
Describing the film industry as a viable sector, the minister said animation has earned a special place as it is not restricted to children alone.
If only we are able to develop the capacity, we have a lot of stories to tell, using animated technology.
With the present technological advancement in the industry, there is the need for capacity building. And he was quick to note that the Canadian government has promised to assist Nollywood in animated filmmaking. The French ambassador to Nigeria, Denis Gouaye, and his Japanese counterpart, Sadanobu Kusaoki, said animated films have become an integral part of the movie industry.
It is the reason why we have decided with our Japanese partners to dedicate one of the 4 evenings to the animation industry in Nigeria.
There is much more we can learn from Nollywood and Nigeria's filmmaking.
The second edition of the Animated Film Festival will close on the 5th of November. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And Lagos is next on News Nationwide. Abdullahi is standing by with stories making round in that zone. Take it away, Abdullahi.
Thanks for joining us in Lagos, Femi. The rising spate of impunity and crime against journalists, particularly in developing countries, have become a major source of worry. As the world observes International Day for Safety of Journalists, a conference to create awareness on the hazards and challenges facing Nigerian journalists on the field of the job has been organized in Lagos. Jenojuku has details.
Journalists are daily faced with attacks and intimidation, and some have been killed in the course of performing their duty of gathering and disseminating information to the public. More worrisome is the fact that their employers and the government, whose responsibility it is to provide adequate security and safety measures for journalists, have not been able to live up to that responsibility.
I know it's the job I signed for. I take the risks, but I think the employers should do more, safeguarding our lives.
In his message, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, which was read at the event, noted that out of 827 documented killings of journalists over the past decade, only about 8% of perpetrators have been held to account. Safety and security expert Ehi Eden x-rayed some of the job hazards and health implications faced by journalists.
Mental health policy should be a part of the policy that we actually have governing the media profession, because most time we go out and we just come back, we're never the same. Media professionals have no health insurance. Most of them have no travel insurance. Most of them have no disability insurance, and most of them they're just left to work on their own. A journalist should go out going to do his job, knowing that the law protects him.
The World Day for Safety of Journalists was first observed by the United Nations in 2013. In Lagos, Jane Ojuku, NTA News.
Successive military incursions in the governance of Nigeria have continued to reflect on the political landscape of the nation. This was the view of keynote speakers at the 2016 National Symposium organized by the Political Science Department of the University of Lagos. Tunde Saiki has details.
The lecture, titled Extreme 50 Years of Military Intervention in Nigerian Politics, took a holistic appraisal of the various military interventions since 1966, its impact and challenges. Keynote speaker identified certain paradoxes that characterize the intervention and occupation of the political system of the country by the military. This is traced from the amalgamation of the country to the pre- and post-independence period. He noted that as much as Nigerians appreciated the already established unitary parliamentary system, the federal system ended up changing the political and administrative structure of the country.
The level of government in charge of rule at the center, the federal state, became weakened rather than strengthened vis-à-vis other levels of government.
Other speakers noted that despite the various challenges and frustrations of civilian rule, the military must be encouraged to stick to their statutory mandate of defending and protecting the territorial integrity of the nation.
On the headquarters into the command post, from which they issued out their dictates and the enforcement of operational orders without input from the majority of Nigeria. First generation of politicians in Nigeria, or politicians of the First Republic, were largely more patriotic.
This symposium is therefore timely and part of the university effort to interrogate the country's past.
Because we refuse to ask the critical questions, then all sorts of things happen to us, which shouldn't, under normal circumstances, have happened to Nigeria.
The event, which brought together members of the academia, civil society groups, and organized labor, afforded the guests the opportunity to reassess the impact of military incursion into Nigerian polity. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
And that's our bit at this moment. So back to Femi, who has more reported nationwide. Over to you, Femi.
Thank you. As Nigeria's external borrowing request draws diverse interest groups into a discussion on the wisdom behind the plan, guest on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, took time to expatiate on the implications of the loan on the country's economy. One of the guests, specifically Director General of the Debt Management Office, Abraham Nwako, said, contrary to assumptions, Nigeria stands to benefit from the loan in the long run. Musbah Dan Wahab gives a recap of the guest's view on the matter.
In Nigeria, just like elsewhere in the world, and as the country finds a way around and out of recession, it's opted for an external borrowing plan. A request seeking approval for the plan just suffered a setback at the Senate. Senior Special Assistant to the President of National Assembly Matters, Itainang, who was one of the guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, says the Senate is only seeking clarification on the loan.
The borrowing were agreed to by the National Assembly in the 2016 appropriation, and it is contended that they will borrow, yes, to sustain it. Part of it will be domestic, part of it will be foreign. It is the foreign aspect that is here. And then, in 2015, the president presented a 3-year rolling plan covering up to 2017. And in this year, he's making a rolling plan that is covering up to 2018. So it is, in all this, it is legal, and we are working very earnestly to properly consult the leadership and agree on the way forward.
Adding another perspective, Director General, Debt Management Office says government's intention to borrow externally is in the interest of the country.
What government has done over the past 2 years is now to start strategically retreating from the domestic market and do more of its borrowing from the external front, so that can leave more space for the private sector. And as it leaves more space for the private sector, interest rates will fall.
These institutions are actually expecting us, to come get this credit. It's a needed credit. And on the study of the Nigerian economic situation, we know that the Nigerian economy is just waiting to fly.
The foreign creditors, they are aware. The integrity quotient of Mr. President and the Vice President before they agreed even to borrow us money.
Expectedly, some views of NTA followers on Twitter also posited that no sacrifice will be too much to revive Nigeria's economy. In Abuja, Musbah Dan Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has presented the 2017 appropriation bill of 301 billion naira to the State House of Assembly. Christian budget of infinite transposition. The budget seeks to achieve 3 cardinal objectives of improving and also expanding infrastructure through public-private partnership, as well as projecting revenue generation and gradual industrialization of the state. Ode Aleyo brings us the details of that report.
A breakdown of the budget shows that 81,142,339,895.32 is allocated for recurrent expenditure, while 220,873,053.48 is allocated for capital expenditure. The recurrent expenditure therefore represents 24.8% of the budget, while the capital expenditure represents 75.2% of the total budget estimate. The governor informed the Assembly that it was a desire of his administration in 2017 to focus on the superhighway, which he said is the main energy that will open up the vista of opportunities for prosperity. He said the state intends to fund the budget from internally generated revenue, statutory allocation, capital receipt, and project investor revenue from direct foreign investment.
We captured it in a way that we allow room for 2017 to dovetail into 2018. And so this projection allows us full opportunity to be relaxed and focus on results.
The Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, John Gold-Lebo, thanked the governor for the timely presentation of the 2017 budget. The 2017 budget has an upward review of 44 billion over the 2016 budget, which stood at 259 billion. In Calabar, Ode Aleyo, NTA News.
And back to Abuja, where the Nigerian Television Authority and the Pharmacist Council of Nigeria are exploring working together for a well-regulated environment for quality pharmaceutical services to sustain healthcare delivery. This was the thrust of discussion during a visit to the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, by the Council's executive. Tessie Justin Bisong has the report.
Health, they say, is wealth, and thus measures must be deployed to ensure attainment of quality healthcare delivery and universal health coverage and access. Criticizing the chaotic and uncoordinated drug distribution system in Nigeria, which he said has contributed to faking and counterfeiting, Registrar of Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, Elijah Mohammed, emphasized that health is an essential human right and a cornerstone of sustainable development and global security.
It is high time the businessmen who are operating within the pharmaceutical landscape in Nigeria knew that if life cannot be all about them, with a view to maximizing profit always, true value and premium can only be placed on the quality of pharmaceutical products and services offered and not on what they can make out of the profession.
Director General NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, was represented by the Executive Director on News, Shola Atere, who emphasized the need for order in the nation's regulatory system to boost productivity.
I assure you that NTA will definitely continue to collaborate with you and support you because your activities are noble.
The Pharmacists Council of Nigeria is a federal government parastatal with responsibility to regulate and control pharmacy education, training, and practice. Tessie Justin Bisong, NTA News.
And for more nationwide, we now join Kemi in our Ibadan Network Center. It's over to you, Kemi.
Good afternoon, Femi, and welcome to Ibadan. Civil servants in Ogun State today resumed work after 12 days industrial action following an agreement between government and labor leaders on issues of earlier disagreement. Lekon Bode completes the report.
For almost 10 hours, the tripartite negotiation meeting involving the state government, state labor, and the national leadership of the organized labor painstakingly arrived at an 8-point memorandum of understanding to resolve the dispute.
The state government should pay global deductions with November 2016 salary and release global deductions every 90 days. And as soon as bullet payment is received from the federal government and the state revenue improves, all outstanding deductions shall be paid, and this will be done on or before May 2017.
Any other issue that pertains to the issue of sacking of any worker, we have received commitment with Excellency that this is a family issue. And once those issues are resolved, those issues will be amicably.
Ogun State Governor Ibekule Amosun, while noting that the situation was due to the current economic climate in the country, expressed government's commitment to the agreements.
All of those issues, areas, I've told them on my honor, they just sign, we'll keep to it.
It was also agreed that no worker will be victimized. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Exactly 57 years ago, the first television station in Africa was established in Ibadan, the capital city of Oyo State, by the then Premier Western Region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. 18 years after, the then Western Nigeria Television WNTV transformed into the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, through Decree 24 of 1977. In this report, correspondent Abdul Kamaldin takes a look at the challenges and prospects of attaining excellence in television broadcasting, especially in the digital era.
I have great pleasure in formally launching Western Nigeria first in Africa.
When I opened the television station, I handed over to Kunle Alasoko.
People are standing around me, but I have control over my nerves.
That event signaled the takeoff of television broadcast in Africa for the first time. With inadequate recording facilities, which were cumbersome in nature, the then WNTV succeeded in recording major local state plays. Television broadcast has gone a long way in 57 years, from black and white to color, and now going digital with 2017 switch over deadline.
You go through that debate, you go through all the belly aching, at the end you move on. And today it's as if we are always broadcasting color.
We did not have NTA International in my time. Now NTA is seen in many parts of the world.
We are quite prepared. Our management know fully well about the digital crossover.
As the first television station in Africa, NTA celebrates its 57 years of existence, the need to support the station to sustain its enviable status has been stressed. In Ibadan, Abdul Kamaldeen, NTA News.
The death of the 4 students of the Federal Government Girls College, Oyo Town, who were involved in a motor accident, has been described as a great loss to the society. This was the view of sympathizers at the interment of the girls in Oyo.
Displaying placards with various inscriptions such as Save Our Souls, the Parent-Teacher Association and the students of the college described the death of the 4 students who lost their lives on the spot to a motor accident where a fully loaded Gary truck fell on a 10-seater minibus conveying the students back to school after the first-term mid-term holiday as a monumental loss to the nation. While describing the incident as pathetic and shocking, an elder statesman, Archbishop Ayo Ladigbolu, highlighted some of the measures put in place to avoid future occurrence.
It's a disaster in every sense. And we have started doing something because we've been able to prevail on the local government authority.
The public relations officer of the school, Pastor Akionifade, and the chairman Parent-Teacher Association of the school also corroborated the views of Archbishop Ayo Ladigbolu.
Many of our students were in that bus, but we thank God 5 of them escaped and they are receiving treatment. Unfortunately, we lost 4 of them.
While the deceased have been interred at the public cemetery.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Femi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Kemi. Media souls rest in perfect peace. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Let's pause now for some messages. You're still on to NTA Nationwide. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
My name is Femi Anikula Kukuti. I'm going to be at the Afrima Village on the 4th of November 2016. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you are there.
This is unstoppable. Over 30 African stars and our Afrima nominees will be performing live. Edmund Platinum, Kiss Daniel, Dewale Ayuba, Eddie Kenzo, VVIP, Nimiola, Ramide, Mbula, Small Doctor, H-Name, and other 30 African stars. On Friday, November 4th, 2016, come and enjoy original African underground sound at the Afrima Music Village at the Waterfront Bar Beach, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria, from 5 p.m. Entry fee is simply Afrima t-shirt. Available on ariatickets.com or at the venue. Afrima is an initiative of the African Union Commission and is brought to you by Lagos State Government with support from One Campaign, Access Bank, PRM Africa, and the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Africa will be unstoppable. Afrima, for hope, for celebration.
NTA, official broadcast station.
Who are you, and what is your predicament?
Please, I'm looking for Candy. Who is living here? In this compound?
Oh no, this is a premises. A compound is an amalgam of chemicals, and there is no Candy living in this premises.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Bimbo Akintola, Ime Bishop, Yomi Fash Lanso, MC for God.
Who was you? What was you found?
Auntie, I look at you.
I going to look for my sister. I know you are poor.
Yeah. And he was found the place, call me. Okay?
Say somebody.
She's definitely not my sister. Shut up!
Professor John Bull, fasten your seatbelts this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and out.
The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded, and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, oh get roller. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Change indeed begins with me. You are still on to NTA Nationwide, and a free medical program by the Nigerian Navy has taken place in Warri South local government area of Delta State. Commander Nigerian Navy Ship Delta, Commodore Joseph Dumve, says the exercise tagged Medical Rhapsody is part of the Navy's corporate social responsibility to communities within its area of operations. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports.
The Medical Rhapsody is a directive from the Chief of Naval Staff to all naval units to reach out to host communities as regards healthcare delivery, especially to communities without health facilities. Flagging off the exercise, Commodore Joseph Zumve promised the residents that the program will be sustained with referrals to Navy Hospital Warri for severe cases. He, however, solicited the people's cooperation in safeguarding oil installations in the area.
They should realize that attack on oil facilities is doing more harm to the environment and the health of our people, because the kind of diseases that are likely to come out of these attacks will make what we are doing here to be such a situation that we are going around in circles. And some of the diseases that may come as a result may even be beyond what we can treat.
We came out of the blues and we so much embrace it. It's something that we didn't think about and we got it.
I've been here for the past 25 years. I've not seen this kind of events, probably from the military angle. So I'm very impressed.
The medical outreach had earlier been carried out in other communities in Warri South local government area. Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Two dreaded cult leaders engaged in the kidnapping of oil workers and vandalism of oil facility in Rivers State, Justice Nkasubi, popularly known as Italian, and Ikechi Amadi, also known as Gumboat, have surrendered to the State Amnesty Program. This followed a one-week ultimatum issued to the cult leaders and an earlier prize money of 20 million naira on information leading to their arrest. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
Queryland had prevailed on the River State Amnesty Committee led by Ken Chinda to extend the one-week grace period to two dreaded cult leaders, Gunboat and Italian, to enable them embrace the amnesty offer of the state government, while submitting weapons under their custody, which include 2 AK-47, 3 MPG, 2 pump-action, pistols, among others. Justice Incasiobi, known as Italian, thanked the state government for the opportunity, stressing that he has been longing for a change of lifestyle. Gunboat, who had earlier submitted 3 AK-47, 2 pump-action, and other weapons, equally shared his experience.
Many people have died. Many people is in prison yard. From today, as your number one man, I have denied to do a copies.
Want everybody to be included in the amnesty program so that we have lasting peace.
CTC chairman of Ikwere local government area, Samuel Wanosike, promised to partner with the state government to rehabilitate repentant cultists in the area. With the submission of weapons in possession of Italian and Gunboat, peace is expected to return in the area. In Isiokbo, Ancient Kingdom of Ikwere local government area, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
Gambling among Nigerian youths has become a growing trend, with a large percentage of them as loyal patronizers of popular soccer betting joint. Moromoke Oluyori, on special assignment, visited one of the sports betting centers in Abuja, where she discovered that a large number of Nigerian youths start and waste their day just in search of quick money. Over to Moromoke.
Youth between the ages of 18 and 40 years troop to the center on a daily basis to invest an average of 1,000 naira and above on different rounds of the modern form of gambling, which is known as sport betting. What is the reason behind this indulgence?
Nowadays, no job in the country. So this is the best way for young guys to make money in this country. It's not an easy job, but I like it. I make a win like 10 million, 5 million. That is what I play every day. Even now, say, na gamble are going to play now.
I want to play game. I play like almost 20 tickets I don't even chop here. What do you make me say I play? Say I want get small money. I play maybe in a day I will play like 3 times each day, but I no go.
Nobody enjoys gambling. This is gambling. A lot of money is coming out of your pocket. Most of these people, they don't have money to even come out. Every day they go out hustle to come and play this so that they can make something out of it.
Why the idea is to make quick money? Aaron Ako, a spectator, says it promotes laziness and idleness amongst youths.
I don't really find it as a source of pleasurable thing to do. When you solely depends on this type of thing and you maybe make it a source of livelihood and you kept on playing and eventually you are not winning, you actually find out that maybe it will also lead to crime.
Some FCT residents testified to how gambling has been of disadvantage to the society and is gradually becoming another source of crime.
I know a lot of people involved and it has run them into big debts. So I think they should stop them.
Somebody earning money through that, as if it's not pure, as if it's not genuine.
It's left for some people to change their mindset that you must work before you reap.
Sheson Orekwiton owns one of the viewing centers in Area 1.
Doing the business is not things that everybody just feel like doing just because there is no much in the country for now. So people just go about doing normal business that you feel you can do.
Although the buying and sorting process may not be easy, but the time wasted gambling would have been used judiciously, as gambling has never helped the older generation and will not also help the younger ones. In Abuja, Moromoke Oluyori, NTA News.
We're still talking about the youths, and also youths have been reminded of the need to remain steadfast and not to be distracted from realizing their potentials, being the ones to call the shot in the future. Chairman Senate Committee on Drugs and Narcotics, Joshua Lidani, gave the advice at the Rise Nigeria Youth Summit and African Youth Day. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has more.
African Youth Day is marked yearly to promote the increased recognition of youth as key agent of social change, economic growth, and sustainable development. Joshua Lidani said it is imperative to safeguard the health and lives of the youth, as doing otherwise is destroying the future.
Things like drug addiction, drug abuse, drug trafficking are things that will distract them from pursuing that vision. And if they are distracted, then the country has no future.
Speaking on youth struggle to prosper in business, a social entrepreneur, Ray Murphy, said, every individual has potential and must not be toyed with.
People make that mistake to think that because you have earned 10,000 naira, you're now a big boy. Then you go out and spend it. Then the next day, begin again.
And we want to see Africa that is united. We want to see Africa that is peaceful. Africa that is governed well. There is democracy and good governance.
Our Rise Nigeria Youth Summit is ignited by desire to empower youth for posterity and has since metamorphosed into a project with the adoption of the African Union Agenda 2063. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
On Global Tidbits, Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe and his South African counterpart Jacob Zuma to launch Bionatima Commission to strengthen ties. Let's join Chalatu Ezereke for details.
South Africa and Zimbabwe have intensified diplomatic ties with the launch of the binational commission set up by the two countries to strengthen economy and political ties. The two countries before now enjoyed ties in the areas of trade and defense. From South Africa, Gupta's family welcomed a proposed public inquiry on allegation of corruption of offering the country's deputy finance minister bribe to accept a promotion. An anti-corruption investigation body suggested the family exercised political influence over President Jacob Zuma. Similarly, police fired tear gas and water cannon at an anti-corruption rally in Kenya, who were demanding government accountability over missing funds meant for HIV and maternal health care. And UK government suffers Brexit court blow. The landmark ruling said Prime Minister Theresa May did not have the right to set in motion Article 50, the official start of the 2-year EU divorce proceedings, without consulting Parliament. The government is appealing, with a further hearing expected in December. That is all on Global Tidbits. Talati Zorike, NTA News.
And to sports now, 24 basketball teams set to begin grassroots competition in Abuja this weekend. Also, Manny Pacquiao hopes to dethrone welterweight boxing champion in Las Vegas. Kene Magbudike takes it from there on Sports Updates.
The second edition of a grassroots basketball competition involving 12 boys and 12 girls teams drawn from private secondary schools in Abuja begins this weekend at the Abuja National Stadium. Organizers of the competition believe it will go a long way in raising future star basketball players.
In the state, people get scholarship when they have talent and they can be good students. So we are trying to find Nigerian students that have talent that are also good students.
Team Chika Chukwumerije Sports Foundation, CCSF, and Team Niger State have concluded a 3-day collaborative taekwondo competitive section in Mina, Niger State, with Team CCSF winning 7 out of 10 bouts. The grassroots program, which featured light sparring and footwork session, technical competitive session, and plyometric training, is aimed at exposing upcoming taekwondo athletes to the latest technology in the sport, amongst others.
Competition experience was gained, and overall we hope to hold more of this kind of partnership with many universities across the country over the coming months.
Boxing's most famous politician, Manny